This is Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega Genesis. Hey, look at these radical colors. Hajime, begin!
Off our planet!
Because we're the Power Rangers! And we're not backing down!
Take that!
Just a little snack, guys.
Hey, call me Mr. Pig!
Howdy everyone, welcome. We are back for a 90s trip down memory lane. It's nostalgic, everyone. And I'm sorry last week we had a break. It was May the 4th and I was on Batu. But we have an awesome guest, a metalhead, a musician, and a man that's going to make 1 million subs. So Nerdrotics has to sing Bon Jovi.
Before Gary.
Yes. We have Dan Vask here, special guest. Thank you for coming on, Dan Vask. His links are in the description as long as everyone else's. We have the head memer himself, No Green Rocks, here as well. And of course, below we have the lovely, talented artist, Dreaming Tabitha, and Nomi with that dude who has finally released her first video.
Yay! I'm excited for it.
Finally a YouTuber.
Finally there, guys.
No Green Rocks is
Not yet. Not yet. The more I learn, the more I dabble, my friend.
Hey, there you go.
So I see we got some people rolling in the chat. I see that Josiah Robinson was here early. He said he'll be back at 5. I don't know what time zone you're at, so I hope 5 equals 8 o'clock. So I don't know.
5 hours, 5 minutes.
I don't know. It's a very I appreciate the comment. I'm lost. And
you're an hour late already, man. It's 6 o'clock here. I'm just saying.
Even if you're California, it might be right on time, but you're not in the chat, so I don't know if you came back at 5. I even waited 3 minutes. So we have Ryan Reaper of the Legion of Memers in here as well. We have Naganol, who I always think I'm saying his name wrong. The Wayfarer. We have American Ninja throwing the Zorts in the chat. Love to see him. The Dole Whip too. I'm sorry, there's no Dole Whip right now.
Oh,
and
man.
We have Cajun Corey popping in here. Corey, you spelled that wrong.
Hey, that's it. No, that's exactly what you think it is.
Okay. What's pooping, Dan Vask? The awesome panel.
Obviously very comfortable.
I hope you've had a lot of fiber today.
I think that started when someone in my chats wanted to say like, "Hey, Dan, what's popping?" And I read what's pooping, and then people started to greet me like that.
Well, I mean, now that comes to think about it, we've never seen what you're sitting on, Dan. Just
it's nice
saying.
to have a signature saying, yeah.
What am I sitting on? What do you mean?
It could be a toilet, a really comfortable toilet. Nobody knows.
Oh, yeah, it might be one of those
the portable ones, maybe.
Really
Is it one of those
fancy toilets?
Is it those special gamer seat toilets?
Oh.
Yeah, those that you don't need to leave ever.
Yeah.
Oh my
So-
god.
Will Nomi be following the Top Gun formula for releasing a video every 30 seconds? Oh, man. Ouch.
R2, don't give away my secrets.
All right, so we're here to talk metal, and one of the reasons I brought Dan on was to talk metal. It's been a while since we talked music. I know we started out on music, so let's break into it. And we're going to get Dan's definition of metal, and actually we'll get it from the entire panel, because it's kind of confusing. Because if you look on Google, there are a lot of bands they list as metal that aren't.
Yeah.
So, Dan, what's your definition of metal?
Well, my definition of metal, it starts with defining the musical aspect, but also acknowledging the cultural aspect. And that's where I think things can go really sideways because metal really started as a cultural thing and music was part of it, you know? And I would say metal is culturally what rebels against the mainstream, is a counterculture. It's for the people who don't settle, and 90's metal, hell yeah. It's for the people who don't like being told what to do a lot of the times. Of course, that to an extreme can be dangerous, but it's generally people who have problems in following other people's guidelines, and that reflects on their musical taste. So they end up enjoying music that is combative, that it's strong in nature, and it has that rebellion quality that shows on our favorite metal bands. So yeah, I would say that after the 2000s, we're talking about the 90s here, but after the 2000s with the new metal movement, those definitions got a little bit blurry, because you started to call metal some things that really don't follow that spirit very closely, and a lot of rock subgenres appear that promote stuff like self-pity and just
not emo stuff. No emo stuff in metal.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you already went there. You went straight to emo. So the promotion of victimization, that sort of stuff, and that I don't think has anything to do with metal at all.
All right, I agree with everything you said. Metal is definitely a counterculture, similar to punk and grunge. They were all countercultures, and I think they evolved from like the 80s metal. Like you say,
Yes.
maybe like Twisted Sister at that time frame, and even Kiss to a degree. That's more glam rock, but you do have some of that counterculture there.
Yeah, I think musically in the 80s, metal started really as a hard rock genre.
Yeah.
So you kind of it's very forgivable to mistake, and even not even mistake, but put together hard rock bands with metal in the 80s, because they really started separating themselves from each other in the 90s, I think.
Yeah, with like Pantera coming out, that's more heavy metal,
Exactly.
and let's see, Sepultura, I think. I can never pronounce them right. Sepultura.
Sepultura.
Yeah, I can never pronounce the name right. I love their music. I've messed it up all the time saying it.
Yeah, you can pronounce in Sepultura. It's close.
Sepultura? Okay. All
Yes.
It does. It's not the same when Tom says it. There's no accent behind it.
No,
It sounds silly.
I know it just doesn't work right.
It's not as strong.
Yeah.
All right, No Green. What do you consider metal? Like, is metal? Do you agree that metal is more of like a lifestyle type thing, like more of a way of thought, and the music secondary, or is it?
I think it's more an anti-establishment kind of thing. And I'll be 100% honest. I don't know metal from, anything else typically, but when I looked into it, I realized I actually did listen to a lot of metal when I was younger. And I just did not know. I enjoyed the music, and it's almost therapeutic. I don't know how many people who are like metal fans, but they will listen to like hardcore metal, and they'll be the nicest people you ever, like most calm, nicest people in the world. Like, is System of the Down considered metal?
They're really considered new metal, but that's one of the new metal bands that I would consider. Hey, those guys are really metal, because new metal can deviate from metal a lot in terms of both musicality and culture, but there are exceptions for sure, like System of a Down, Disturbed. It's a great new metal band, dude. They're great. But yeah, I would say that band it's definitely a heavy metal subgenre. It's a new metal band that stays true to the spirit of metal.
Awesome. I'm really glad, because like I had to come on the show.
You're like, no, that's
not metal, you loser. Get off the panel. What are you doing?
Nobody said there was going to be a pop quiz at the end of it.
No, but that's what heavy metal is. Heavy metal, it's about the individuality. So if you perhaps by any chance had a different idea of what metal is musically for you, hey, more power to you. Absolutely.
No, like
It's
back
not a
home, like
problem.
we would blast System of the Down in the car driving to the beach, and everybody would just sing the songs, and it was a way to vent without like going to therapy. It was
Yes.
like I
know.
love all of that. So I guess I know metal. That's awesome.
So now we're going to go to the homeschoolers and see what their concept of
Can
metal
Noe
is.
go first, please? I'd like to
No-
do Noe
Nomi?
first, please.
Nomi,
before
go ahead after you.
Tabitha.
I know you said you're a metal fan, so
I am. Yeah. So yeah, I was homeschooled, but I didn't get the exposure from the world because my parents sheltered me very well. But you know, I had friends growing up. They're like, "Hey, you should listen to this." So that's what introduced
Homeschoolers
me.
have friends?
I know, that's so strange that homeschoolers had friends, but I was one of the lucky ones that did have that growing up. And some of those friends were metalheads that introduced me to those metal bands like Cannibal Corpse and Pantera. So it was fast. Of course, listening to it, it's like, this is scary. This isn't as soft as what my parents used to play on the radio. But hearing it and paying attention to it, I appreciated the art that went into it. The art that you can do a lot of riffs on the guitars, and who can make that music in a fast pace, and also the vocals as well, that you're stretching out and breaking your vocal cords just to make that perfect screech. I really appreciated that, and not a lot of people see that as an art, but I do, because not a lot of people can do that, and I can't. So from there, I started going into my, unfortunately, my emo phase, where I was listening to emo bands, and I went to those concerts. And I can't remember the band that I went to go see, but I remember it was just fast guitars. The breakdowns were heavy, where I just wanted to go in the pits and just kind of like let out some anger, you know, my teen angst out. And it was very therapeutic, what No Green said.
And when you say pits, you mean like mosh pits?
yes,
Yeah,
mosh
mosh
pits.
Okay.
Mosh pits are fun. That was
I've been in one mosh pit, and one guy saved my life by grabbing my arm and just pulling me through the damn thing.
Is that the same
I was
pit
too skinny
where
for
Q
mosh
was
pits.
in when he tackled a midget? Is that the same thing?
No, no. I was that
God.
girl that I would run, like, be far away as the pit as possible, but run and then jump and then dive in. I was that girl.
Wow.
We'll give Tabitha a break so I can bring up Joe C818 Purebloods. It can be argued that Iron Maiden is the greatest rock band to be able to sell out arenas and sell millions of records without consistent airplay. Interesting. I would say Iron Maiden. I like Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden's fantastic.
Yeah,
It's like
I can agree
one
with
of the
that.
greatest metal or rock bands of all time, for sure. And Iron Maiden went through that transition, that weird transition from 80s to 90s, 2000s, where metal got more well defined.
Yeah.
And the first, super interesting that the first couple Iron Maiden albums was pretty much hard rock.
Yeah, it was. In the early 80s, yeah, it was definitely more hard rock. But they evolved with it, and that's a good musician evolves his craft. So I think that I've never seen an Iron Maiden show live. That's one of the ones I wish I would have been able to.
Me neither,
I
man.
was at like the first 3 Ozfests in the 90s, so that was fun. I actually went to the first one. I was, I think, 6. I was not a good age. My dad was a metalhead though. So we went. But thank you for the $5, Joe C. All right, Tabitha, your concept of metal.
Well, okay. Well, there's growing up, it was taboo, like any kind of music like that. Growing up in a very traditional Christian family, honestly, it was this era of anything that had electric guitar in it was just bad. It's evil. It was of the devil.
Yep, I can relate.
So and my idea of what might be metal versus, like, I don't know. Is there a difference between metal, heavy metal, hard rock? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know for sure, but I know as I got older, I mean, like you were saying that there are some people that are listed as the metal bands that aren't. Is Linkin Park on these?
Yeah,
lists?
Linkin Park is on there. I would consider them more
Alternative.
so they're because
Their
they're
older
like a rap
album, though,
rock,
right? Not their
fusion
newer,
stuff.
like
They-
newer albums.
Some people would describe them as a hardcore band, but I don't think it qualifies. I mean, new metal is more encompassing, but yeah, I don't know. I think probably new metal, they fit best in new metal.
Because I mean,
think.
I can enjoy me some Linkin Park. As far as what is my interpretation or what does it mean to me? Like some people were saying therapeutic. I can't say I find it therapeutic, but I do find it inspirational and also motivating in that when I am working on a project, whether it's drawing or primarily when I'm painting, there are just some moments where you feel like you just need to be a little bit more aggressive and intense in creating your art piece. And so I don't really listen to what you might deem necessarily worldly metal, if that's the thing. But like there are Christian bands like Skillet. I enjoy some Skillet. And like Hero is like one of my favorite ones, and like just I can play that on repeat over and over again, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. I really can float between all kinds of genres, but I will say that when I first was introduced to Dan Vasquez's music was years ago when you made the Mulan one. I didn't even know who you were. My brother sent it to me. He's like, listen to this guy's rendition of Mulan, and I'm like, see that this is the kind of again I might be using the wrong terminology here, but bear with me. But I was like, this is the kind of heavy metal I could listen to because it's different. Like yours is cohesive. It makes sense. Nobody's necessarily screeching so loud that I can't understand what you're saying, even though you do hit those really high notes. I find it very enjoyable to listen to versus a lot of other bands. So I can't really say what it means to me, but I tell you, sometimes it's right where it needs to be when I'm creating something.
That's cool. Yeah, the subgenre that I mostly gravitate towards while arranging my covers and writing my own stuff is a subgenre called power metal, which has a lot more influence from melodic 80s music. It has a lot of influence from the 80s music, really, and it's more focused really on the melody, as you said, not necessarily screeching vocals, Cookie Monster vocals. Those are more distant cousins from, not really distant because it's very similar in some aspects, but from thrash metal. And thrash metal started really getting popular in the 90s with bands like Pantera and Metallica, Slipknot, Megadeth. So it's like both power metal, more melodic, and thrash metal, more heavy and more aggressive, originated from the speed that bands like Motorhead started to add on hard rock, kind of uniting punk and hard rock a little bit. Yeah. So I guess we could say that the power metal and thrash metal are sort of kids from punk and hard rock, because they started to give the speed necessary to hard rock to evolve into metal. But then you have those two that fork in the way. One side went more heavy, thrash metal, and the other side went more melodic, power metal. That's my subgenre, power metal, and it's more appealing to a mainstream audience.
Well, it's more like arena rock, right? So you have clearer vocals and you can.
Yes, arena rock is a good description. Yes,
there's so many subgenres. It's like overwhelming. I had no idea. I honestly just thought it was like just 3 different ones. You like rock, heavy metal, and metal. What does Aerosmith fall? What does Aerosmith fall into?
Oh, Aerosmith is old ladies metal.
Yeah.
Okay, I do love me some old ladies metal.
No, but it's fantastic. I've covered Aerosmith in my channel a lot of times. I love me some old ladies metal too.
All right, we have a question from Majin Soul, which I kind of curious about what Dan's answer will be. Is Korn? What would you consider Korn?
Oh, Korn is new metal.
New metal. I would kind of agree with that. And I did not know there was bluegrass metal. I need to look into this.
There you go.
There is bluegrass metal.
I need to look into that because I'm a big country and metal person. I did not know there was a combination of the two.
Oh, Tom, it will change your life.
Which makes me happy.
I guess it's kind of like, what is it? Turbo polka. It's kind of like pop music and polka mixed together. It sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Turbo polka?
Turbo
I've not heard of that either.
That sounds awesome.
It's super fun.
It's pretty great, yeah. I've heard that one before.
It's the music of my people, so I have to appreciate it.
That's how she gets her anger out. Aggressively polka dancing.
To a polka. Oh god, I love it.
Oh, but yeah, there's all kinds of metal subgenres that you would never imagine that exist. There is like Viking metal, pirate
Ooh,
metal,
yeah.
and all sorts of, and then you go really extreme with the Cookie Monster vocals, and there are differences between death metal and black metal. Then you have doom metal as well, which is a little bit melancholic. It's like,
Wow.
it's such a rich culture musically that you won't believe.
I am enlightened.
And Dan, where do you think the future of metal is going?
Oh man, I don't know. I hope
Woke
I can
metal?
influence it somehow.
Folk metal.
Woke metal.
Woke metal. Yeah, that's like saying wet fire. It doesn't. It makes no sense, even though people try.
Just imagine
Whatever
someone
core.
screeching. Just someone
Oh yeah, then you go to the subgenres of hardcore too, and then you can get crazy with that too. Hardcore, rapcore, metalcore. You can go crazy with that too. But yeah,
So metal is not
I
a specific genre. It's all encompassing.
I guess you
It's
can say metal
much
is
that.
fluid.
All right, I'm curious
Yeah.
about this.
As long as I don't have to call it they them, we're good.
Yeah. Just imagine
Dan-
a screeching person, like the pig screeching. It's like, I am a she.
There are times for that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put it this way: if you get a metal, I'm not gonna go there.
I don't know.
Alright,
Dan
pull
has a
back little.
ponytail, so
What's your opinion on Gwar? I'm curious. So that's more thrash metal or dark metal, right?
I don't know
Like,
Gwar. I don't know Gwar.
They're very
Google it.
theatrical, similar to I would say, like in terms of theatrics, like Slipknot, kind of.
Oh, I think I know them. Dude, that
Alright.
looks badass. Looks awesome.
it's
New-
man metal. Man-
Man metal.
We have Joe C asking if you've ever listened to Jeff Healey, blind guitar player singer. I got a chance to see one of
No.
his shows in the early '90s. Still got the ticket stubs. Interesting, Jeff Healey.
Jeff Healey. No,
was
never
he
heard of
in?
him.
Was he in the movie Roadhouse? Was he the guitar player in the movie Roadhouse?
Hmm.
Okay, that's the only one I
Interesting.
can
Gotta
think of.
check
Blind
that out.
Yeah, I have to look into that, Joe. Thank you for sharing that.
Cool.
Noob Reviews is learning so much tonight. I think we all are. So
I am.
little
There
Spidey's
used to
in
be
the chat.
this really cool old website called Map of Metal. I don't know if it still exists. Which it would like they made a map with all the subgenres of metal and what subgenre gave birth to what. It was really cool. Let me
And
see.
I called it. I was right. It was the guy from Roadhouse.
Yeah, it exists, Dan.
Obscure knowledge wins.
Map of Metal. There you go.
Yeah, it's mapofmetal.com.
Oh, I have to ask. Well, if you've been to this show before, I bring up lists, and most of the time we kind of like tear them down. And I think this list actually is pretty good. So I kind of feel like I don't think we can tear it down. But this is supposedly the top 10 '90s metal bands. So
Okay.
we can see if we agree with this top 10.
Who made that
this
top
is-
10?
Let's see, spindiddy.com. I've never heard of it before.
Sounds
And
very
so-
metal. Yeah.
Probably someone
Okay.
with a liberal arts degree.
Yes, well, trying to find one that wasn't there were ones that put bands I would have not considered metal, so I'm kind of like, all right, these at least are metal bands. They put Pantera as number 1. I don't know if I would have done that. I probably would have had Iron Maiden higher up.
These are all the
Yeah.
bands the cool kids at school would listen to.
I
when
mean,
was in high school.
Metallica.
Yeah, exactly.
Metallica-
I can definitely
Metallica
see them as the more popular metal bands of the 90s. But as I
Yeah.
said, not a single power metal band in there. And the
No.
90s was the 90s was the power metal decade. It all started there. But yeah, I can definitely see like the cool kids in the bus
I
listening
mean,
to that.
early Metallica.
Yeah, they all had the
you have
long
to give-
hair and they wore the jackets and the old shirts that their dads used to wear to concerts.
Yeah.
A lot of people are
Closest
not.
thing to power metal there is Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I think this is too like generic metal. Like if someone like needed to pull a metal band out of their
Mainstream
head,
metal.
yeah, this is definitely
Exactly. For somebody like
Yeah.
me who did not grow up, was not allowed to listen to this.
You heard
knew-
of them.
I heard of
Yeah.
Metallica, Iron Maiden,
Mhm.
and Black Sabbath.
That.
and I think
Like
they-
commercial metal. Like this,
Yeah.
this seems like to be.
Yes.
Oh, this is.
Yeah,
These
not
are-
commercial in a bad way. It's like the most famous ones.
It's
Yeah,
very, yeah, I guess like mainstream metal.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
Mainstream.
This is the metal you hear walking down Venice Beach in the 90s for sure.
All right,
Or you go into a Hot Topic store and you buy the shirt
Yeah.
off their wall.
Deftones, I would consider new metal. Yeah, I'd say so. I think. Imagine so. I would consider Deftones new metal or alternative.
Deftone.
Drum freak in the chat. First of all, I don't think Guns
But
N'
that's
Roses
a good
are metal.
question. No.
That's hard rock.
That's a good question because they were precisely in that time frame where hard rock and metal were kind of starting to separate themselves from each other. Man, you listen to Welcome to the Jungle without knowing anything about Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
You say that this is a metal band.
Yes,
I
agree.
love those Guns N' Roses. I love, and I will agree. It's hard to tell sometimes though, because some of their songs are definitely towards more of a hard rock or arena metal a little bit at the time, like an arena feel to it. Because that can also be like a lot of that time the hair metal bands were going on too in the early 80s, 90s. So it's hard to tell. Like I wouldn't say they were heavy metal necessarily. I would say like hard rock, like the beginning Divergence, like you said. Like it's that's where they are. They're right at that epicenter of that divergence. And if they were together a little bit longer, if their music went a little bit longer, I could see them going fully into metal. But like,
I think so too. Yeah,
I think they're just like very. Oh, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, Joe. You're right though. Alice in Chains
And Soundgarden, yeah.
Oh yeah. This is
Tom. How
Yeah.
about AC/DC?
I
that
would
old
say
ladies
there.
metal?
I would say that's the beginning of heavy metal. Their songs
Yes.
slap like that is. I mean, Thunderstruck. Now, I would say you could also consider them hard rock, and it depends on how you feel about it, because some of their stuff has a similar feel to Bruce Springsteen. So, like, you
Yes.
have some songs that are more in that line. I think the singer makes it more metal. Like, if you had someone that was more melodic, the band would sound more hard rock. But that raspy tone
Is that what
is-
makes the difference between rock and metal? I don't
no,
really
I
know what
think
the
it
difference
adds
is.
to that feel, and also their attitude.
Okay.
Like their attitude towards the music and towards the culture. Like AC/DC was counterculture, was against the establishment. You look at some of their songs, it's very much in that vein of being, a free spirit, or so to speak.
Yes, definitely.
I think that's a main component besides like the speed of the music. And like you said, thrash metal has more of that grungy, raspy feel to it. But yeah, AC/DC is definitely metal, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I as you said, the vocals contribute to the metal aspect, but the instrumental kind of pushes a little bit towards the hard rock thing. But if you replace those guitars, if you replace the tone of those guitars with a slightly heavier tone, then you got a modern heavy metal band. And you listen to modern bands such as Airborne. Don't know if any of you guys heard of Airborne.
I knew they are.
They do that. They are pretty much AC/DC, but with a more modern with a modern technology behind that and more modern tones in the instruments. And it's pretty much heavy metal. So their compositions are metal, but I think because of the technology of the time, they're not using as much distortion as most metal bands. So, but yeah, definitely the spirit of metal, and the vocals push them towards that for sure.
We had a question early on, and I kind of want to feel about this too, because I think Archie the Icky asked if Tool, would you consider Tool metal?
Ooh.
I need to do my diligence on Tool, I must confess.
Tools are made
What
out of.
would you say?
I love Tool. I do think
I just had to go for the dad joke. I'm sorry.
I love Tool. They have some of my more favorite songs. They're more melodic, like you are. So it's definitely more of like a power. It could be considered power metal or something like that. But Dark Ray calls it dad rock. Ryan Reaper says not metal. I think it depends on when you start to listen.
Wikipedia describes them as an American rock band.
This is the extent of it.
Yeah, I would say we will confer about this later on, and Dan can tweet out what he believes, since he doesn't seem to be as I don't know
a lot about Tool.
I would say alternative metal, maybe, but they're definitely more melodic. So I don't know. Uh,
It's fascinating.
Tom, why do you want to know if Elmo is metal? I don't. Elmo metal.
Yeah,
has the
in
voice.
Video. He's dressing up in an Elmo suit
Oh.
and doing a metal song.
All right.
It's,
So
some YouTube singers sound just like Elmo.
GJJ might be right. Tool could be progressive rock. I could see that.
Mm.
And then Ramstein, I consider.
Ramstein is Ramstein.
Yeah,
It's like it's hard to put them in a category because they're so different. It's really, I don't know. Let's make up a genre for them. Freaky metal. I don't know.
Would you consider like KMFDM in the same vein as Ramstein?
I don't know those. Who are
that
they?
KMFDM did the Mortal Kombat theme song
Oh,
for the movie.
so more kind of, yeah, those heavy music, but with sort of electronic instruments. Yeah, maybe makes sense. Ramstein's heavier though, don't you think?
I would say Ramstein is heavier. I think Ramstein is definitely I would consider it heavy metal. Like it's anything that I feel like I want to get into a mosh pit with, I consider somewhat towards heavy metal. Like Ramstein.
That's a great rule of thumb.
Like
What's a mosh pit?
What's a mosh pit?
Mosh pit is where you get together a whole group of people, and then when a heavy breakdown is about to happen in the song, everybody just starts fighting each other.
Yes.
And kicking.
Heavy breakdowns and also a more speedy parts. Like,
so they're calling it industrial.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think we're breaking things down like way too slow.
Industrial. There you go. See, Tabitha, there is, yeah.
There's
all kinds of
mainstream,
names.
industrial, bluegrass. We got all kinds in metal.
Well, so how did you find your niche, Dan? Like, what spoke to you out of all of these variety? What spoke to you?
Wise man once told me that you don't find your favorites find you.
Okay.
So I guess he had something to do with the context of my life at the time. I was kind of a depressed kid, so differently from most depressed kids, I wanted to get out of that state. I wanted to do something about it, and I guess when my brother started to have guitar lessons, his teacher started to show random heavy metal bands to him, and he would bring those bands home and show me and bring me those albums and not albums really at the time, I must confess, MP3 files.
Sounds cooler when you say albums.
Downloaded by
Napster.
Everyone did it, okay? Everyone did it.
Did you do LimeWire, Dan?
LimeWire, exactly. So I guess when he started to bring home bands such as I have them pull out here, Halloween, Gamma Ray, Rhapsody of Fire. Those are all 90s bands that started.
Gamma Ray. Yeah, I like that.
Gamma Ray. Halloween's more 80s. They got really famous in the 80s, but Gamma Ray, is it Gamma or Gamma in English?
Think it's Gamma.
I never heard.
Gamma.
Gamma.
Yeah,
Gamma. Okay. So
yeah, think of the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Gamma Ray,
well
too.
said.
Yeah.
Gamma Ray. So Gamma Ray really started when Kai Hansen left Halloween, and he, in my opinion, he was the soul of Halloween anyway. So he started to apply those melodical ideas to speedy double bass drum. It's like you feel like you're in an epic movie. With that sort of movie and with that sort of music, and that sort of thing really not only helped me escape my mindset, but also fight against it. So I guess that's where I found myself more with power metal.
We do have a super chat for Dan from Elsa Barrett. It says, "Hail all. Dan, congrats on Amazing Grace. Blowing up. I've wasted 2 days watching people react to it. Many are saying it's the best version they've heard. Much respect." I agree. It is.
Miraculous.
Thank you so much.
I think I probably listened to it about like 7 times.
My super
It's insane
Christian,
to hear that.
yeah, my
It's
super
insane.
Christian parents really liked it.
Yeah, I got an email from a 102-year-old about that video.
They knew how to do email.
I was just to say,
Probably, I don't know.
102-year-old?
Probably, I don't
You
know.
know
Probably
it
was
their
their
son or
great
grandkid
granddaughter
that typed it up.
that wrote it, but I don't know.
It
Dang,
was just
that
Gary
music's
writing
so
the
good.
email.
Music's so good, 100-year-olds are reaching out to Dan.
Yeah,
You're reaching out
I'm
to my
getting
demographics.
Email, the text would
Yeah.
be giant.
But I've been getting emails from pastors and church group leaders about that song, and yeah, I heard some people say it was the best they ever heard, which is insane to me to hear, because Elvis Presley recorded that, Andrea Bocelli recorded that.
So many, yeah.
So it's absurd. It's absurd to hear that, and I'm humbled and honored
I know when I
by the
listen to
mere
it,
comparison.
because like I said, as an artist, a painter, sometimes you hear something and you get a vision, right? And when I heard it, because we sing it all the time in the States, and Dan, I listen to you on different podcasts and things, and I'm like, he's more American than most Americans. And so when I listen to it and it gets to that crescendo, all I see is like you got like with a Brazilian tank top on and the American flag with
I'm
like
glad
an
you
eagle
finished
coming
with
out from
Brazilian
behind.
tank top and not just Brazilian, because I'm just like, I don't want to see that image of just Dan with a Brazilian.
Tom, it's me.
Why
like I
not,
would
Tom?
say it. Like
Why
I would
not?
say
Are you
that.
racist?
No.
I could just hear the eagle in the background. I'm like, this is like so great. I would love to paint that.
Thank you.
I'm taking
Thank
notes,
you.
Tabitha.
That's
You might
awesome.
get a
I do have to-
video of it in the
I
future.
do have to thank GJJ for becoming a sponsor, as well as Zombie Box Reviews giving out a gifted sponsor or membership to Kelly Waldron. So throw those Zorts in the chat, everyone, for the 2 new members of the channel. Sorry for interrupting and doing the YouTube stuff. Back to the conversation. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
You
Amazing
were
Grace was
talking-
really great. Sorry, Tabitha.
No, I
I'm sorry, Tabitha.
I was gonna make Tom awkward. That's all. I was like, Tom,
I'm-
when last you spoke, you were talking about Brazilians and yeah.
You know what? I'm just gonna say.
We know we're for Tom's mind.
Tom,
It's been too long. I've had that waiting, and I had to use it. I've never used it before.
You wanted an opportunity. Okay.
You got a Caesar moment, Tom, and you took it.
Brazilian town sounds like one of the things.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to say a tank top with the Brazilian flag. I got my tongue tied when I was
There you
trying to
go.
describe it. That's all I was saying.
Oh well, we are
it's not prison lingo, guys.
Right, yeah.
It's not.
We are
Don't
getting
do
a
that.
lot of gifted memberships right now. James H
Oh.
has just become a member.
Wonderful.
The Beam Pad became a member. Cajun Corey became a member.
All right.
Kanga Rooster became a member. Ryan Reaper. I'm guessing that's Zombie Box again. Let me see who gifted them out. GJJ gifted 5 memberships. All right, thank you for the gifted member. There's more Zorts in the chat, and I'm gonna ask. So, where do you see metal going, Dan? Like, we've had this new metal phase come up, and we have like sort of different varieties. Where do you see metal like moving forward? I'm hoping it gets out of the emo phase. I want to go back to the more power arena metal, more like not operatic, but like just something that's more of a booming sound that you understand.
Uplifting.
Epic metal, like making it something like you'd want to see. Maybe that's a new genre that's going to be coming. Maybe epic metal will be coming, and Dan will start it.
It already exists. There is epic metal, and it's like it's great. It's symphonic and just epic on your face. It's amazing. But yeah, right now metal, I think it's kind of dormant because we have all that cultural bullshit where it's like a lot of self-pity is going around, not only in music, but in all aspects of the entertainment industry. A lot of promotion of victimization and self-pity. But that happens a lot with music too. And unfortunately, so it is with what people call metal nowadays. It's just like whining in not really a counterculture anymore, but trying to push you towards the mainstream, push you towards like the message nowadays is obey. That's the message nowadays. So I think heavy metal is too much of a noble thing to corroborate with that, to coexist with that. So the beautiful thing about heavy metal is that you cannot pretend, we have that term posers, right? You can pose as a heavy metal fan, but you cannot pretend for that long, because heavy metal is such a noble thing that it ceases to being metal when you remove what makes it metal, which is, as Tom said, the free spirit, the rebellious spirit. So right now, I believe heavy metal is kind of dormant, and I wanna do my part to change that. I want to, as Tom said, to bring it back to that uplifting stage, to that arena rock style of, hey, we're here, we don't want to, we're not listening to the mainstream. We're not listening to people who want to tell us what to do and what to think. We are our own free spirits, and we do whatever we want. So I guess I'm trying to take us back to that, to change metal back to its origins, which is what I call actual heavy metal in our little corner of the internet. So
it's more about
I'm
standing
very
up.
optimistic.
Standing up against the man.
Yeah, not joining the man.
Well, you said it earlier. It's kind of rebellious, where you're not going into something corporate, and it's doing their own thing, their own unique style, without following trend or what you said, being obedient.
Is that why a lot of bands, like, their names have to do with like death of some kind? Like, it's more like dying to the corporations, or it's like, you've got your Anthrax, Black Sabbath, all these kinds of, a lot of these deathly notes in the titles, and
it's all about
I
the
always
shock.
thought that was depressive. I thought
it's all about shocking. It's all about shocking people. I would say those classic bands that you mentioned that use that sort of darkness around them, they came about during the stage where most of the mainstream and the people telling you what to do, and the people like the annoying set of the culture war was the conservatives, right? They were the ones telling you how to live your life. They were the ones telling you what to do, and people mistake that rebellion against conservatism and people telling you what to do with just rebellion against conservatives, period, and not rebellion against people telling you how to live your lives. So now the pendulum swung. Now conservatives are not really the ones telling you how to live your life that much. It's a little bit more of the other side, but people, a lot of the old school metalheads, metal is against conservatives. No, it's not. It's about not giving a damn about people who think they know how you should live your life. And nowadays, that's not conservatives anymore. So there you go. That causes a lot of confusion. But
it seems to me it's
Josie,
about the suffocation of art.
Yeah,
If
I think
you
Josie
feel like you're
brings
being
up-
suffocated, that's where the metal comes out.
I think that's
Exactly.
where Josie kind of brings in a valid point. Success. If you become successful and you worry about that success instead of worrying about what you're doing, because he brings up a point with Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down. Once they became popular, once they became corporate, they lost their way. You can say the same thing about Green Day or any of those punk bands and stuff like that.
They sold out.
Yeah, they sold out because they got money, and they got comfortable, and they got sponsorships, and they got contracts and deals, and all of a sudden it became work.
They became the man.
Business. Yeah.
They became the very thing they hated the most.
I think staying independent probably is something that will help musicians stay away from being pushed by either a manager or a label to follow a trend or follow what's going on. Like, I think that's probably the main thing that I would see as an issue with counterculture groups is success. You have to get success without falling into the trap of comfort.
Do you think that's what maybe the blessing of YouTube is, that you don't necessarily need a manager, it's all self-promotion and all that?
Oh,
I don't
definitely.
know. You see a lot of
Definitely.
sponsors on YouTube now where most of the people's videos are like 4 minutes of ads.
Yeah,
But
but you
that's
have
not-
you have
that's their
control over
money.
that.
Yeah,
Right?
you can skip the ads.
You can't survive without that, and you can make more money doing that, but you also can make a lot of mistakes and do less money do that, because it will drive your audience away. So if you don't do it well, if you don't do it tastefully, it will bite you in the ass later on.
And nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Legion of Memers is not going to get sponsored by anybody. I promise you that.
There is
They're
a
never gonna
one.
put up with our
You never
content. Too risque.
Yeah, and there is a well-known band, Tabitha, that has very wise words. It is known as Rage Against the Machine, and their words are "F you, I don't do what you tell me."
But
And then they
now
became
do
part
that.
of the machine.
Yeah, now they became the
Oh.
machine.
Poetic. If you can say anything, it's poetic.
I know
It
you
is
guys
poetic.
listed Green Day, and I'm like, yep, there's another band that I'm okay with that apparently doesn't fit the bill.
But that's the thing, band, like
They're pop.
you mature when you like your music tastes change and you mature. I liked
Mhm.
Rise Against when I was in college. It was it was an easy concert to go to. There were $20 tickets. House of Blues in Myrtle Beach, a 3-hour drive from where I lived in North Carolina. So that was a good place to go. Their music was okay. They were a little bit preachy, but it was fast and upbeat. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. I can pit to this. It's fine. Plus, a lot of girls liked them, so it was.
Ah, the
That
real
always
reason.
helps.
Tom was just going for the
That always
chicks.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's how it works. That's saying like.
Oh, for
No.
a young man on his 20s or even a teenager, definitely. You want to be where the girls are. You don't want to go to a Bon Jovi said that. This for all the Bon Jovi haters out there. Bon Jovi said, "What do you prefer? A bunch of sweaty dudes on an AC/DC show, or the girls on the Bon Jovi show doing this?"
Yeah, it's a free show. 2 shows at once.
It's 2 shows.
Put it this way, like I said, I've been to Ozfest. I remember my 3rd Ozfest. I was 10, and I remember that was my I guess coming of age moment. The amount of shirts lift, like you want to be where you want to be where that
You want
amount
to
of
be
happens.
where the people are. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
hear
want to
ya.
be where the people are. Want to see them
Dancing.
flashing.
Yeah.
Too bad this is a family-friendly stream.
I
would have changed the
I
lyrics
mean-
drastically.
I know.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I did say "F you" earlier, which I'm sorry,
Oh.
Tom.
That's fine. Oh wow! I didn't know you're. That's cool, Joe. That's awesome. I might
That's
have seen him
insane.
then. I had seen him then. I
That's
went like,
a pretty good.
yeah,
That's a good boasting
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
yeah. But
Definitely.
so we see metal in a dormant stage. It's recovering. Are there any like new metal bands that you would say for people that are not in the metal sphere that are curious that would be okay to like listen to, or would you say start with the classics? Like what would be your entry guide?
I mean,
to
old
metal?
lady metal that apparently I enjoy.
No, you can do both. You can do both for sure. There are some modern bands. As I said, I'm more into the power metal scene, but a relatively new band that it's like it's bringing back that spirit of uplifting and just epic heavy metal. Sabaton. Sabaton is a fantastic band,
Okay.
and they're releasing albums like in the 80s model. A full album every 2 years, then a tour.
Oh wow!
So they still do that at 80s style, 80s, 90s style before the internet, and they also play the internet game pretty well. Their guitarist Tommy Johansson has a YouTube channel where he does covers like me, and they have an excellent online presence. But also going back to the classics is also extremely
Their concerts
necessary.
look fun. I like the way their concert looks.
I've
So-
been to a Sabaton concert, and it's
Yeah.
like you leave that concert, whatever it is that you set out to do in life, you will do it. after attending that. It's
need to
like
listen
it's
to
so and that's what heavy metal is supposed to do, man. It's supposed to bring out that energy of you on you, not so like not bringing you down, not you know,
It increases your
spread
heart rate.
negativity.
Turnstile.
It's blood pumping.
Yeah.
Girl,
yeah.
I have not heard of Turnstile.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I listen to metal music when I'm working out. Like I remember spending 2 hours at the gym because I lost track of time of how deep and fast the music was, but I was just like on the treadmill and just lifting those weights.
And then you couldn't lift a
Yeah,
pencil.
metal in the
next
gym
day.
is obligatory. It's obligatory. Every single day I listen to heavy metal in the gym.
Have you ever been to a concert, Dan, and somebody looked at you and said, "Oh my gosh, it's Dan Bask"?
Well, I
Okay.
think my latest concert was about 3 years ago. It was probably the Sabaton one. So I no, it never happened. 3 years ago, nobody knew who I was.
Wow, I would not. Interesting. So, if you do you think if you come here, so say you're coming to Orlando, you're gonna hit the theme parks up. Do you think someone's gonna recognize you now from The Amazing Grace?
I
cover?
don't know. Is there a lot of old people there?
It is Orlando.
Bunch
It's
of
retiring
102-year-olds.
capital. There are the villages like 5 minutes away from Disney. It's a retirement capital of the world or
Well,
the states.
Well, it might happen. I don't know. I remember when the Toss a Coin to Your Witcher thing happened. On my way to the gym, it's like a 5-minute walk. I used to be recognized, and it was cool. People were asking for selfies and stuff. But yeah, then after the COVID stuff, people stopped leaving their homes, and that sort of died out.
Oh man, I think we need a metal resurgence. I do think we need that. I think there's too much people obeying things. Like obviously, obey the appropriate rules. Like
yes,
you know,
YouTube,
follow
do
the
not
law.
the
Yeah.
moral thing.
YouTube, please do not harm us.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
stay up
mean,
to the man, but don't do anything illegal.
I think what you're talking about and what Jay's doing with his Rebel Against the Programming podcast, bringing out more independent creators, bringing about more free thinkers. We've all been pushed into like our education system of not, well, except for the homeschoolers, of not thinking the right way now and not questioning things. And I think metal is about questioning things and about standing up for the individual and for like kind of what's right in some ways, like just like simple, like
and what's right for you,
right? Back in exactly. No groupthink.
But yeah, questioning is a great thing because it doesn't necessarily mean you will disobey or go against what you're questioning. It means you're thinking.
Right.
So questioning is a great way to put it about heavy metal culture. We question everything, and we're not afraid to do that to people's faces.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. So Dan, have you always been this attractive, or did you have to make yourself? I'm just asking the question.
Well,
the people in the
don't
chat
know.
wanted to know. I haven't.
I can
Yeah,
pull up
what-
some high school pictures of me.
We all have those.
Do I
don't
have
we?
one?
Yeah, what's your hair
PC.
washing routine? Because your hair is nice.
See, these are the questions the girls would ask, not the
Yeah,
guys.
like
What's your
I
hair?
have
Dan
long
doesn't have
hair
enough
and
of
I
a
didn't
beard.
know.
His beard is kind of low maintenance beard. I can't ask like, what's your beard oil?
I don't know.
You
I
could.
just
What
get
Dan
the
just said, ask the
cheapest one in the
question.
shelf.
Oh, we have.
But
wait,
really,
wait.
part. No, go ahead.
We have a $50 super chat. Sorry.
Oh,
What? Just watching some reactions to Dan's Amazing Grace and had to go dust off my total gym. Dan, you're making an old man feel out of shape. $50 Greg the Goblin.
Go to the
work
gym.
out. Hit the gym. And that's a
Hit the
50.
gym. Yes. Hit the gym always. Always
Yes.
hit the gym.
Get that.
Not only for the physical benefits, but for the mental benefits too. Just for the fact that you're doing something that you don't want to do, it already makes you instantly a badass. It's instant benefits from going to
drives
the
those
gym,
sad thoughts
especially when you.
away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't want to go. Those are the best ways to go. When you don't want to go, take the opportunity.
And I can't say it like Beardo. I don't. Fitty! I don't know. I'm going to wake my dog
Fitty!
up.
sorry.
Fitty!
I'm not trying to make fun of you. It's just Beardo has such a deep voice. And you're like,
I don't have a deep voice. I'm sorry.
It was very unexpected.
Dude, I'm 64 and worn out.
No,
I'm
I
sorry,
can't say it
Greg
like
DeGarmo.
Beardo, so you totally did it. Like,
Hey, Greg, age is just a number. Don't worry about it. Go slow. You don't have to go fast. Even though if
No,
you're
no,
listening
actually-
to heavy music,
Actually, don't
maybe.
go fast. Just start doing some heavy weights under appropriate supervision, and that will actually help you out more. Build that testosterone back up, and do a lot better for the weight loss than the
Drink
cardio.
a lot of water.
Like, you do need the cardio, but I would say focus on like rebuilding that muscle, especially at that age. Like, you're gonna have it's gonna be harder to build new muscle. So I would say start with some heavy weights under supervision, or what you can do safely. Again,
and maybe
safely.
not
Look at
listen
Tom.
to metal, because Nomi went to the gym for 2 hours longer than she intended. So you want to be careful. Maybe start off with something low
And I
key.
did
Like,
get a leg cramp, and I did collapse.
yes, start off with something easy.
Whale
In front of my gym crush,
Whalebone
but it's
metal.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, Dan's gonna have to get like a guitar made out of whalebone. Like some way, do the
Ooh.
whalebone as a guitar.
That
I
dude
think
has a badass beard. Hey, way to go,
Yeah.
man.
He does.
Yeah.
It's Beardo's
Might-
cousin.
His
Beardo's
beard is
cousin.
pretty majestic. I've seen his beard in person. It's pretty majestic.
Oh.
Awesome.
Oh, kangaroos
Yeah.
with bearded- All right. So, basically, we do this about an hour because we have Fortnite with the premium members, and I need to take my dog out one more time. So, Dan, do you have anything awesome coming up new?
I've been working on my cover of Peaches, my heavy metal version of Peaches. I'm
I
super
can't
late.
wait.
I'm super late because I had a weird cough thing and I couldn't record. But yeah, I'm releasing it anyway. I think we'll destroy the momentum my channel is having with the old ladies. But
You'll get the 20-something Japanese girls or something. I don't know.
Right.
probably,
There you
yeah, it's gonna be a different momentum or not. I don't really care. It will be fun. It will be a fun thing to do, and I can always go back to Christian hymns later. I would love to do "How Great Thou Art," a heavy metal
Ooh,
version of
please.
that.
That'd be awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I would love to do that, and I would heavily inspire myself in the Elvis Presley version, of course.
Oh, that is a-
heavier, in a heavier
Elvis
way.
metal. Okay.
Elvis
Oh
metal,
my gosh.
yeah. Oh, his cover of a bridge over troubled water. What is that the name of the song?
Like a bridge over troubled water.
Yeah.
Bridge over troubled water. That's the name. Yeah. Dude, that's a fantastic song to transform into heavy metal too. Not so much the Simon Garfunkel version.
No.
I don't know, but the Elvis version is fantastic for a heavy metal version.
What
do
makes
that
the
too.
difference between Simon and Garfunkel and Elvis?
I don't know.
The
They're a little bit more folk structured. It's like they repeat the lines always the same way, and very squared off. And Elvis Elvis already added the rock and roll element to it, and he made it a little bit more free. So
Okay.
I guess it gives me a little bit more freedom to do what I want with it, rather than the Simon Garfunkel. It really, I don't know. It's just a me thing, because you can really do whatever you want with whatever piece of music you want. That's the beauty of those metal covers, and especially when I do something very different from the original, people seem to enjoy that a lot. But yeah, the Elvis Presley version seems to inspire me a little bit more.
I'm going to ask a personal question. Any chance of, because I love Hercules. Can we get a metal version if I can go the distance?
Oh,
Absolutely.
I think that would be awesome. I mean,
Dude.
That would be.
that
I've
I've been
covered that
thinking.
song before. I've covered that song. I've covered that song on my video number 100.
Number 100, you did?
Yeah.
I have to go
my
back.
100th video was "Go the Distance," but it wasn't a metal version. I was just singing like the regular version
Okay.
by what's his face? Not that he doesn't sing it in the movie, but he
Phil
sings
Collins?
in the
No.
no, it's not him.
Michael Bolton?
Michael Bolton.
Okay.
Michael Bolton. He sings it on the credits.
Yeah.
In the movie, it's the actual actors. But yeah, definitely a metal version of that would be insane. That was my video number 100, and my video number 200 was Toss a Coin to a Witcher.
Okay.
Pretty interesting how
I have
those
to go
things
back
happen.
and go. I've gone through about half of Dan's video. I haven't gone through all of them. I'm sorry.
How dare you not watch every single one of my videos, Tom?
I'm trying to get my best.
He's rude like that. You have to excuse him.
Just kidding.
All right, so No Green, you got the Memers stream coming up this Saturday, correct?
Yes, I got the Legion of Memers meme stream with Jessica Reloaded, and I'm going to be on Full Aussie's channel on Saturday as well. And then we got Blabs on for next week for Tuesday.
Okay, cool. I think Tabitha, you have X-Wing on
Tomorrow night. Yes, teaching YouTubers how to paint.
I'm glad you're coming. I'm glad that's coming back. I love watching those.
Yes. I have some more guests for the end of the month, and then I have another one coming next month.
maybe we can get that heavy metal painting, because I think Dan painting like a
metal painting.
Yeah, with Tabitha together. I think that would be a great thing. Getting one of the like classic album covers and doing one of those.
Oh yeah,
like,
I can
80s.
teach anybody how to paint anything.
That's awesome.
You haven't met me then.
Oh, I've met half a dozen of you, guaranteed. I'm not a teacher by trade.
If you and Dan do a painting stream, it should be like a heavy metal whale or something with a guitar, just doing like a riff.
Well, my guests always
an undead
choose.
whale.
An undead. Well, we could do that. My guests always choose what we paint, so I mean, there's always an invitation. I'd love to have Dan on the channel to paint if he was ever interested in.
Awesome. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's set it up.
I do have to thank Samuel Levis for the $5. Thank you
Samuel.
for the 1,500. I think I actually finally passed Tabitha. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought you would keep going past me, but I'm sorry.
I'm working on it. Challenge accepted.
And Nomi, it's going to be another 5 years before you drop a video.
Shut up. No, I'm going to drop a video tomorrow morning. It'll be about the Vegas meetup from 2 weeks ago.
So make sure you follow her channel and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss it.
Thank you, the Grinnell Green Rocks. I appreciate it. So yeah, videos tomorrow, and then this is my last stream for the next week and a half because I will be off the grid. I will be on a boat in Mexico.
Oh, same thing. I'm just kidding.
No,
All right.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Why do I think of Masa? People are asking. Why do I think of Masa?
Do you mean Mazza as in from the Grunking on Dogs, Mazza?
Yeah.
Or do you mean our Masa?
The full Aussie Mazza. If you haven't watched the full Aussie, Dan, I highly recommend it.
I haven't. I have not. Need to check that.
You know what? Not that I'm biased or anything. Why don't you drop by the stream this week and check it out?
Nomi's channel is in the description, but I will drop her link now too.
With like Lethal Lightning, Dan.
None of
Right. I definitely need to get myself acquainted.
Separate, because when I type it together, it brings up a different channel.
What do you guys stream?
From my time, it's like 7, 8 a.m.
No, where? In which platform?
On
on
YouTube,
on Twitch.
I'll throw you the links.
Cool. Send me those.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. There's Nomi's channel
out.
in there. Yeah, I might. So there is a channel announcement not to do with the 90s streams. Saturdays from now on are going to be, since we proved it with the 7 parks in one day, we can do longer streams. Saturdays are going to be a bit longer now, starting at 9 in the morning and going for about 5 hours for the parks. We are going to hit a lot more stuff, so expect some longer streams on the weekends, because we now know we can do it. So I hope you enjoy. More people will pop in, and I'll actually be able to do some rides instead of just walking around and looking at people being annoyed.
And how many hours did you sleep after you came home?
I think I was playing Fortnite.
No, my gosh.
Thought for sure you were going to crash and burn and sleep for
straight
15
to
hours.
Fortnite.
That's actually metal.
I think I was playing Fortnite. Like, I do think I was playing Fortnite. And then I started playing Jedi Survivor. Oh yeah, in the link is my new the gaming channel, the Rogue Attraction Games from Tokyo Tom. So thank you, Krista, for your nickname.
Yeah.
What? Tokyo Tom Krista gave me the name, so
Oh.
that's in the description too. If you want to watch my Jedi Survivor fun, with the rice patty hat on. I always have weird stuff around me. And I thank everyone. I thank the chat. You guys were awesome today. I thank Dan for coming on. Are you playing with us
Thanks
tonight?
for having me. I don't know. I don't like to be gang banged by the members like you guys are all the time. So I don't know, but let's see. I'll probably join you.
All right. And everyone said what they're up to. And I hope everyone has a good night and a great weekend. See y'all in FNT. If you're going to be there for memeing, I'll try to get a meme out. I might be at Universal, I think, probably tomorrow. So
Get your life together, Tom. Come on now.
I go to theme parks like 4 days a week or 5 days a week. And then I work too.
No excuses.
Parks all the time.
Tough life.
My life is hard.
Thank
Hanging
you
out
so
with those
much
100-year-olds.
for the £5, real proper money, as Gary would say. I love this panel. You guys are wonderful. I love the fun and positivity you guys bring every week. Now, next week is going to be Star Wars. We push it off because of May the 4th. And then, of course, we had Dan set up already. May 18th, we are going to do 90s Star Wars, when Star Wars was good, when there was hope, and when the galaxy was right. So I'm reaching out. Maybe X-Wing might pop in and join us. Maybe some other people. But that should be a fun stream. So look forward to that next Thursday.
Might be a bloodbath.
It could be. It could be.
Star Wars fans.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We'll keep it family friendly. But thank you all for being here, and we'll have a good night. And I remember I have an outro now. I keep on forgetting that stuff. Bye, y'all.